Good day, boys and girls. Today we will be revising the topic multiples. What is a multiple? A multiple of a number is any number that can be divided exactly by the number. You would recall, for example, that a multiple of 2 is 8. This means 8 can be divided exactly by the number 2, which means 8 can be divided by 2 without leaving a remainder. How do we find a multiple of a number? We can find a multiple of a number by multiplying it by any whole number greater than 0. So if we multiply the number by any whole number greater than 0, we will find a multiple of the number. If you recall, whole numbers start with 0 and they are non-fractional. For example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. However, to find a multiple of a number, we cannot multiply the number by 0 because that would give us a value of 0. And of course, 0 is not a multiple of any number. So, for example, the first 5 multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. How did we come by those? We know that 4 times 1 equals 4, and 4 times 2 equals 8. 4 times 3 is 12, and 4 times 4 is 16, and 4 times 5 is 20. Now 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20 are the first 5 multiples of 4. We got them by multiplying 4 by a whole number greater than 0, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, the number of multiples of a given number is infinite, and you would remember that infinite means cannot be counted. So let us look at a few examples. Multiples of 2: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and so on. The list continues because for each of these I'm multiplying 2 by a whole number greater than 1 in order to get these. 2 will be multiplied by 1 to give 2. 2 2s is 4. 2 3 is 6. 2 4 is 8. 2 5 is 10, and so on. And so we could go to 2 times 120, and that would give us 240. So the list continues. As far as you can count, you can find multiples of 2. And it goes on to infinity. Multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and so on. And some multiples of 15 would be 15, 30, 45, this should be 45, 60, 75, and so on. So the number of multiples of a given number is infinite. A multiple of a number can be divided by the number without leaving a remainder, and we said that earlier on. So, if 4 is a multiple of 4, then 4 can be divided by this 4 without leaving a remainder. And we know that 4 into 4 goes 1 time. 8 is a multiple of 4, so 8 divided by 4 gives us 2. 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. 16 divided by 4 gives 4. And 20 divided by 4 gives 5. So all these numbers 4, 8, 12, 16 and 20 can be divided by 4 without leaving a remainder because they are all multiples of 4. Let us look at a few examples. True or false? 48 is a multiple of 3. We said if 48 is a multiple of 3, then it can be divided by 3 without leaving a remainder. Let us check. So here we are dividing 48 by 3. 3 into 4 goes 1 time, and it leaves a remainder of 1. 3 into 18 goes 6 times. Is there a remainder? No, there isn't. Can 48 be divided exactly by 3? Yes, it can. The answer is 16 with no remainder. Therefore, this statement is true. Let us look at the second example. 250. We want to know if 250 is a multiple of 100. So we are going to divide 250 by 100. You're right. The answer is 2 times with a remainder of 50. Since there is a remainder, 250 cannot be divided exactly by 100. So the answer is false. 104. Is it a multiple of 8? Let us check. 8 into 10 goes 1 time with a remainder of 2, and 8 into 24 goes 3 times with no remainder. This 104 can be divided exactly by 8, so therefore this answer is true. 365 is a multiple of 9. I am going to give you a minute to try that one on your own. Now let's check. 9 into 36 goes 4 times with no remainder, and 9 into 5 goes 0 times with a remainder of 5. There is a remainder, therefore 365 is not a multiple of 9. So the answer is false. Now from all that you have seen, let us look at some points worth remembering. Every multiple of a number is greater than or equal to that number. And we saw that there was multiples of 4. There were no numbers that were smaller than 4. So it started at 4 and it went up. The number of multiples of a given number is infinite, and we saw that just now, where you cannot ever see the end of the number of multiples of a given number. The list went on and on and on. And lastly, every number is a multiple of itself. So 4 was a multiple of 4, 8 was a multiple of 8, 2 is a multiple of 2, 9 is a multiple of 9, and so on. Now let us continue. We are now going to look at common multiples. The first 10 multiples of 4. And how did we get them? We multiplied them by a whole number. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. All of these were obtained by multiplying 4 by the first 10 counting numbers. And so the first 10 multiples of 5, if we should do the same thing, are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. Now, a common multiple of 2 or more numbers can be divided by the numbers without leaving a remainder. We know that the word common means having the characteristics of both or of all the members in a set. And so a common multiple would be a multiple that is in this list and a multiple that is also in this list. So let us look at what would be the common multiples of these two. The first one would be 20. 20 is a common multiple of both 4 and 5 because it belongs to both lists. Are there any others? 40, you're right. 40 is also a common multiple because it belongs to both lists. And so 40 is a common multiple of 4 and 5, and it is only one of them as we have seen, because 40 can be divided by 4 exactly, and 40 can be divided by 5 exactly. Now, which of these two, of 20 and of 40, would be the smallest or the least common multiple? You're right. 20 is the lowest or the least common multiple of 4 and 5 because 20 is the smallest number that can be divided by both 4 and 5 without leaving a remainder. So let us do two examples. True or false? 48 is a common multiple of 3 and 8. We could do this either by listing multiples of 3 and multiples of 8 and then checking to see if 48 is one of those numbers that appears on the list. Or we could divide 48 by 3, divide 48 by 8, and see if it is divided by both exactly. So let us do the second option. 48 divided by 3 is 16. And 48 divided by 8 is 6 with no remainder. Since 48 is divisible by both numbers exactly, then 48 is a common multiple of both. Let us look at our second example. 104. Is it a common multiple of 8 and 9? Let's divide. 8 into 10 goes 1 time, remainder 2, and 8 into 24 goes 3 times, no remainder. 9, let's use 9. 9 into 10 goes 1 time, remainder 1, and 9 into 14 goes 1 time, remainder 5. So we have a remainder with one of the numbers. That means 104 is not a common multiple of 8 and 9 because it cannot be divided by both numbers exactly. And our final example, 54. True or false? 54 is the lowest common multiple of 6 and 9. Let us look at the multiples of 6. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54. And of course, we know that this list continues. These numbers are all multiples of 6. And you can get them just by counting by 6 as well. Multiples of 9. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, and the list goes on. Is 54 the lowest common multiple of 6 and 9? We know that 54 is on both lists. Is this the smallest number? Let us see. We have 36, which is smaller than 54. Let's see if there are any others. We have 18, which is smaller than 54. And so, this answer would be false, because 54, even though it is a common multiple of 6 and 9, it is not the lowest. The smallest is actually 18. Thank you, boys and girls, for being so attentive today. I do hope that you understood everything that was done just now. You will be asked to do an activity on your Google Classroom, which will be posted shortly. If you have any problems, just watch the video again and ensure that you work the examples on your own so that you will understand even better. Thank you so much, and tune in to our next lesson.